Alrighty, and we're back into it with this match between Raven, who is the Zerg here, and Jess as the Protoss. Jess won our last game in this series, but we got a best of three going on, obviously. So we're going to see if Raven can turn around and get a reverse sweep going on. Raven had a fairly fine position in the last game, but ended up having some bad movement that threw away some of her units. That was a very unfortunate situation, and then it kind of ended up avalanching into the game being over for her. We see Jess with no Vespene geysers. This is a pro strategy where you just build a pylon, build gateway. Your first units don't require anything but minerals, so you can just rush out those buildings. We do see now that she's putting up the double assimilators. We got double extractors, full saturation on the gas with Raven now. She's getting some more workers out. A couple overlords. Jess not making as many drones as we would like to see her making right now. She's got enough resources to be fully producing probes, but she's not doing that. Raven also has access to this, but is not. She's focused on getting her natural expanded. Oh, her third base expanded. She's going straight for her third base. Getting this developed. That'll help a lot with getting her up ahead. Last time we saw her do this, she did not fully saturate her mineral lines afterwards, which is not particularly ideal, especially because she had so many resources sitting around in the bank. We could have seen her engage with a lot more gusto on the spending train. We got double gateway out of Jess. First gateway is not producing units yet. Forge going up. Another thing that cost Raven that last game was the lack of upgrades. She never built her evolution chamber or any of her upgrades. So that particular situation was a little unfortunate. But hopefully she figures it out this game. Hatchery finishing here. Forge finishing up for Jess. We got Zealots on the way. No breeding pool up yet for Raven. Natural expansion for Jess. It's a spawning pool technically, but Raven expanding into her natural also. So she's got 3 hatcheries up and online already. But has yet to build a spawning pool. Jess is getting aggressive with these 2 zealots now. This is going to be very, very bad for Raven. Raven has about 10 seconds to react here to get her spawning pool up in time. Okay, so her spawning pool is now going up. Oh, Jess did not get as aggressive with these zealots. She stopped the zealots. If these had kept running, that could have been pretty devastating. But Raven got a little bit lucky. Raven got a little bit lucky there. We see spawning pool. We see evolution chamber up. Okay, so Raven has corrected her mistake from our last time. Upgrades are not being made yet for Jess's units. She isn't utilizing her second gateway either. She's got a ton of resources, so she could be using both of these right now. Raven's got Zerglings out and on the way. This is going to be good because she needed them to survive against the potential upcoming situation. Raven at 10 Zerglings. She's oversaturated on her main base, upgrading her hatchery to a lair, upgrading all 3 of her hatcheries to lairs. We got Zerglings grouping up over here. $14 Zerglings to 7 Zealots. Depending on how these get wrapped, this could go either way. Go either way for either player. Raven is up 13 workers over Jess right now, and has an extra base together, which is what you kind of need to do as Zerg, because that's the way that you build your building or build your units. So we're liking what we're seeing. Raven is using her minerals very effectively here. She's sitting at around 500 at a time, whereas Jess has a significantly higher number of minerals, despite having a lot fewer workers. Which means that we're in a situation where Raven is probably making more stuff, which is good. More stuff wins you the game a lot of the time. That's how you win. She's got even more workers coming out. We got 40 drones at this point. That's fantastic. This is a very healthy worker count. Now, if Raven pivots to just making tons and tons of Zerg units, she could be in a very commanding position in this game. She's got a Hydralisk Den up and ready to go. Nidus network together. Figuring out how a Nidus network works is one of the main attacks that Zergs do. This is a thing that literally just teleports you somewhere. It's completely ridiculous. Very, very strong. And it's hard to deal with if you don't know what's happening. Spire going up. You could probably get some Mutalisks coming out of Raven here. Be nice to see. Taking a look at the income graph here. Raven has about 500 more minerals than the Protoss do as income. Cybernetics core up. Upgrades coming out. No upgrades for Raven yet. Three Corruptors coming out for Raven. She likes building these units a lot. They're very, very good anti-air units, but they don't do much else. Couple of Mutalisks down. Raven has nothing in production right this exact second. We really need to see these upgrades coming out because she's got a significant disadvantage without them. Third base is up for Jess. Her main base is starting to lose mineral saturation. Same thing for Raven. She could utilize some of these workers that are oversaturated here for some more benefit on some of her other bases right now. She's not fully saturated on the other bases, while she is at home. Although neither of these players are particularly choked for minerals at this point. Raven is getting kind of supply locked, and could be building more upgrades with her money that she's got access to. Some more Hydralisk coming out. Infestation Pit. Stargate going up for Jess. Jess has a moderately, very, very moderately better army than Raven right now. We could see a trade with maybe a couple units left over. If those are a couple of Zealots that survive, We could see Raven losing some material on the board here, actually. They're about even in supply right now. Raven's supply cap increasing a lot here. She realized she was getting supply locked and built a bunch more overlords. Oh, sorry, big yawn. We got infestors and swarm hosts coming out for Raven. These are swarm hosts are units that you need to utilize their ability on. They do not work if you don't use their ability. So we're really hoping that Raven has kind of figured this part of the game out, because if she is not, these are wasted resources in a game that we saw was fairly resource tight last time. Every bit of supply mattered a lot. Ooh. We see even more swarm hosts coming out. Raven has a total of 12 swarm hosts. These spawn locusts. They're like, they're basically carriers, is kind of what they are effectively. So they spawn a bunch of little units that then go attack and do a bunch of damage. Raven looks like she is rallying her forces to kind of go for on the offensive here. Her army is significantly stronger if she can utilize them effectively. Both these players balling up their forces. This is kind of a weird map, though. The players are side-by-side mirrored instead of in opposite corners. All right, Raven's got a big force, and she's moving it around. Let's see if she can decide what to do with this. She's got them all selected. She's moving them. Here they go. Oh, both players ended up moving out their forces at the exact same time. Are they paying attention? Uh-oh. It looks like the answer is no. Raven not utilizing her locust ability, her swarm host ability. However, it might not matter. These Hydralisks are doing a lot of work right now. We got Hydralisks doing tons and tons and tons of work on these people. The Swarm Host just soaking damage while the Hydralisks just wail away on Jess's forces. She has won the fight. Raven has won the fight with like 10 Hydralisks left over and a couple of Mutalisks. If she attacks right now, she could do a ton of damage, but she's not reacting there quite yet. Okay, here we go. Oh, she was so close to figuring out where Jess was and is now kind of pivoted to run away. She might be trying to regroup her forces, or yeah, it looks like she's just trying to regroup her forces. Jess still behind on military units. We don't see any production out of Raven. She's micromanaging her units a lot. Nexus going down really fast here. These Hydralisks are doing tons of damage. It might not be quite enough to deal with the ancillary forces here, but Jess has lost her third base. Raven back at home doing a bunch of production. The probes coming forward here. She needs to turn around and deal with some of her military units again. She needs to remember that she needs to be doing both producing and attacking at the same time. That's one of the hardest skills to master in this. These probes harvesting for free while these Hydralisks sit and watch. Jess's military is significantly crippled right now. She's got 2 Adepts and a Void Ray to 14 Hydralisks. All right. Raven doing good work here. She's cleaning up a bunch of probes, driving up the income divide. She's still got stuff producing at home. That's good. She's staying on top of it. She could reinforce her units here to deal a lot more damage right now. Some proton cannons at the front of Jess's main natural are going to cause a bit of a problem. And it looks like the leftovers from the fight that we saw have taken about 20 probes, a natural base, the assimilator on the natural, third base. Sorry, third base. It's taken the third base, a bunch of probes on the third base, assimilator. Meanwhile, Raven's got a very healthy force back at home, and Jess is still recovering from that initial attack. She's got 4 military units to about 15. Her main base is out of minerals, and her natural is down to 8 mineral nodes, which means that she is running out of minerals to harvest. She needs to rebuild her third base, which she's starting to do now. And then she needs to just be building units literally as fast as she can. She's working on it, but Protoss units build slow. Raven has an opportunity here to go hammer on Jess. If she chooses to do so, that could win her this game, and we could see the first Game 3 of the tournament. We see Raven moving out a small portion of her forces. This small portion of her forces might not be enough at this point in time. She needs to be careful with these Hydralisks that she's moving in. Oh. Just a little bit too many units into the meat grinder. She did not get a lot of value there. She broke the shields on the Nexus, but didn't manage to actually get much besides that. She's not using her Lurker's ability or her Viper's abilities, which is unfortunate. These units don't do anything if you don't use their abilities. They're just casters. So Zerg have quite a few units like this that require you to utilize their abilities to do much. Jess expanding into another base here. She needs access to more minerals after that initial attack. Raven is not producing as many military units as she needs to. She's building another base out, getting some workers onto that. She's kind of run out of minerals at her main base. Her naturals is starting to get depleted. Her third base is starting to get depleted. She needs to be grabbing more of these resource nodes on the map. Jess has not rebuilt a bunch of the forces that she's just lost, so now... Or Raven has not rebuilt a bunch of the forces that she's just lost, so now Jess has a significantly larger and stronger army. We see weapons 2 and armor 1 out for all of her ground units. That is part of the thing that is driving the wedge between these players as far as strength goes. We saw Raven build her evolution chamber, but none of her upgrades out of it, unfortunately, which has impacted her ability to fight competitively here. Jess attacking with her force. Raven not paying too much attention. And losing what little defenses she had left because of it. Unfortunate. And now the supply, the overlords are getting attacked by all of Jess's units. The third base is getting killed. We're seeing Jess's retaliation here being fairly strong. Raven has run out of gas. She's got an Ultralisk coming up, but that's not particularly good against this many Void Rays. Base going down. Ultralisk Cavern going down. She still has her natural and her main. Fourth base is discovered and getting attacked. The fourth base is down. Ultralisk coming out. See if this can do some significant damage here before it gets killed by these Void Rays, and it cannot. Void Rays are very, very strong. Another Ultralisk coming in, trading for a couple of units, but not quite enough. Jess sending out even more units. And we'll see Raven concede there. Yeah, the upgrades matter a lot, people. That's what it looks like. We saw some unfortunate movement, and the unit abilities are tough. Unit abilities are really tough. You got to figure out how to use those to be able to succeed with some of the specialized units, especially upper research stuff. And that will give Jess this round. So congratulations, and we'll be moving on to our semifinals game next. The last semifinals game, and then we've got a finals game, and that's the end of the blind tournament. We still have a bit to go in the friendly tournament, but congratulations on winning your quarterfinals. I'm unmuting you guys now if you had already unmuted me. Hello. Yeah, that was a tight one. You